Hyper Sports. We're back with our week 2 of our NFL segment. Man, there was some great games this week, and I think we'll just go ahead and start with some of the ones that you got a chance to watch this week,
Oh,
Steven, and it caught your attention. What did you see in week 2?
definitely watched that Dallas game. I was had
Dallas, New Orleans today?
yeah, definitely
I
had
caught it myself.
high hopes for them. They started off last week just killing the Browns, and this week I don't know what the heck happened. They were just got demolished by New Orleans. I've always given New Orleans respect for their defense,
Right.
offensively. Hey, I guess when you're healthy, you got on the offense and defense, everything's clicking. This is the type of game you put up. Alvin Kamara, I think, had 4 rushing touchdowns.
4.
Dallas just looked like, why did I pay these guys basically $500 million or whatever, this huge contracts? Really scratching your head. They did not look like the Dallas Cowboys from last week. But I guess this is Dallas. This is what you get when you're a Cowboys fan. So, I know some Cowboy fans very sorry out there, but
Cowboy fans, I'd be worried. I know it's week 2, but this is what I saw from Dallas, and this is why I would worry. New Orleans, and they've come out hot, right? They've come out hot. They hung up over 47. The 47 points on Carolina week 1. But it's Carolina, right? I mean, come on, let's be real, people.
yeah, you do.
They need help everywhere. But this week, right, at home, or was it at Dallas or was it New Orleans?
It was at Dallas.
It was in Dallas. While on the road, they put up over 40 points
Home
against
opener,
Dallas. Steven, do you know they scored on every single possession? Every single possession. That's just a very ill-prepared team. And I gotta look to Mike McCarthy. Like, what are you doing? I've never been a big believer in this guy. He doesn't have his team well prepared at the moments that he absolutely needs them to. I mean, Dak had to drop back, a bunch of times today, and I know he didn't do a good job protecting the ball. But you know what? I don't want to get on Dak in the offense because they did all right. They at least showed up today. That defense and Mike McCarthy's team did not. He did not have them prepared. Derek Carr looked absolutely amazing. He threw for over 200 yards, a couple touchdowns. I think he only completed like 11 or 12 passes. As Steven said, Alvin Kamara had 4 touchdowns. I mean, they were just scoring at will. It looked like a video game. And I'm not going to go on and on, but this is the main thing I see from Dallas. When they get hit, they're like a fighter that just can't keep their hands up and keep backed up in the corner. They just lay down, man. They have no fight in them. They need to cowboy up. You know what I mean? They need to, they don't have it. And I think it's the head coach. I think that's where you got to look.
I think so. It's definitely the head coach and the owner and stuff. But this is what the Cowboys do. They get your hopes up and they just bring you down. So as far as much as it sucks, this is nothing new from the Cowboys. They have a great game one week and this look like crap the next week. So
yeah, just your case of a good team. But Steven, I have no faith in them. I know it's only week 2, but they're going to have to turn things around drastically for me to even have a little bit of faith in them. They just seem to lay an egg, and this is way too often that this happens. So I'd be worried, Dallas fans.
I agree.
Another really good matchup this week, and I had a chance to check it out, was the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals coming off a tough loss in week 1. They were just kind of flat, lost to the Patriots. Looking to go into Arrowhead and get a win. And they just about pulled it out, but they just, I don't know, for whatever reason, couldn't get it done. There was a late penalty towards the end of the game on that last drive. It allowed Mahomes and KC to get in field goal range. And, of course, Buckner hits that thing to finish it off. Hey, quick shout-out to the 808s, Andre Yosivash. He caught 2 balls today,
Nice,
Steven,
nice.
but they were both for scores. So congratulations to him. Young kid out of the 808 having some success there over in Cincy. Getting the starting, T. Higgins is hurt, so he's getting actually more looks. Played great, but yeah, Mahomes and Kansas City, man, I don't know. They just got that magic to win. They've had 2 games this year so far, and they've pulled out 2 close ones. They just seem to get it done. It's early in the season, but if you're a Kansas City fan, you have to be very optimistic about that possibility of a three-peat.
Definitely. I'll be honest with you, Joe. I didn't think this was going to be the game that everyone thought it was. Just from what Cincinnati put up last week against the Patriots, them losing to them, and just they look confused in that game and everything. So I didn't think this game was going to be that good, but it really was a good game. And talking about the Chiefs and what they're able to do, it just seems like they've been doing this forever, Joey. Like with their team, with Mahomes. It just looks so natural to them. They're never worried. even if they're behind, or they're just always
They
calm
don't panic. They're very poised.
Exactly. So nothing new for me there. I guess the one point I do want to bring up is the whole Jamar Chase thing, because he had that penalty, and I know it
Okay.
cost him.
Yes, he
towards the
couldn't
end
keep his cool, right?
He couldn't keep his cool, and I really don't think it was the game. I just think it's everything off the field with the contracts. I think it's just really messing with him. I think it's messing with everyone. Here you got a lot of these other people, like Joe Burrow's got his contract extension, with his, after they went to the Super Bowl, and he's looking for the same thing. And as long as we've been around, Joey, we've always known the Bengals haven't been successful. Why? Because of their owner. Their owner doesn't want to pay out the money. He doesn't want to give out, these star-studded contracts, and that's why, for the longest time, the Bengals have been the laughingstock of the league. They're basically the LA Clippers of the NFL. They had an owner
That's a
doesn't
good
want
point,
to pay,
Steve.
and that's why they've never been successful.
And they finally have a squad, right? They finally got the dogs, they got the players, and this guy doesn't want to open up the
He
checkbook.
doesn't.
I'm sorry, you got to do that, man. In the
You
words
know.
of the great John Malkovich, pay him. Pay
Yep.
that man his money.
Exactly.
Remember that,
exactly.
Rounders?
I do.
You got to pay him, man. You got to pay Jamar. He's an
So,
elite talent. He's
yeah.
young. He's in his prime. Come on now.
Yeah, if you lose Jamar, I think you lose that team. I mean, as great as Joe Burrows is, if he doesn't have people to throw to, I
Yeah, you
don't
can
know
see
what's
they're
going
already
on.
mixing with that
Yep.
consistent running game.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
What we do in Cincinnati?
Yeah. Another team that's missing their running back, the good old 49ers. How's Sam Darnold? How's Sam Darnold? How's Sam Darnold looking?
Man, Sam Darnold.
Yeah. First off, let me just say, Sam Darnold does look good. I'm not saying he's the top 5 quarterback in the league, but he's doing good.
He's finally, after all these chances, was this like his 15?
Well, I mean, when you give him some
We'll
weapons.
give him a little prop, Steven. He's
Yeah,
finally getting
definitely.
it together. He's got some weapons.
Definitely, but this game I think was all Minnesota. Minnesota looked great offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
They're really getting after Brock, and that's what the scary part is I don't know what San Fran is. Sometimes this game they just look very nonchalant, like, oh, whatever, we'll still come out and get the win, and they didn't.
Second year in a row they lost to Minnesota. If you remember, they
Exactly.
lost last year on the road to Minnesota.
So I don't know what's going on in San Fran. Maybe it's CMC. They need that kind of that swagger back there. I mean, that's the only person that they're
But
really
they did
missing.
get good productivity out of that backup, Jordan Mason.
They got great
Second
productivity.
game, he had over 100 yards, had
You
a
know what
touchdown.
they didn't get, though? They didn't get the win. That's what the main thing is with CMC.
I can't argue with that.
They didn't get the win, and like I've always said, I think CMC is the man over
Yes.
there. Without them, they're anything. And
Yeah, and it's not just his running; it's ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, right?
Yeah,
that makes
new
him
looks,
so
different
dynamic.
looks.
Yeah, it's just like the ultimate check down, and bailout guy.
yeah,
And of course, the run after catch is amazing. So Steven could be right there. The Niners could have used a little bit more pressure on that. The front four could have got a little bit more pressure today on Darnold, but Darnold looked pretty good, man. Played one of his better games I've ever seen him play.
Mm-hmm.
And that one he threw to Justin Jefferson. Of course, Justin Jefferson made a great adjustment to score on that, but they just look good. And Aaron Jones is no slouch. I got him on my fantasy team.
Pritchard. I think
He's
Pritchard was
represented.
looking good. There's other running
Yeah.
back. He was just a
Yeah.
big boy. Like he was
Yes,
getting some
backer
yards.
running back.
Yeah,
Yeah, keeping the chains moving.
exactly.
So, kudos to Minnesota starting 2-0. I wouldn't have called that. Niners did look a little flat today, and I'll say this, Steven, before we get off the Niners. Brock Purdy, he's still checking down a little bit. To go deep this year in the playoffs, I got to see him make the next step. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he is your quarterback, San Fran, but he's got to keep progressing and make this next step and elevate. He didn't hit Ayuk much today, so that's something him, Kyle Shanahan, they got to figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
what I saw.
Very
Yeah.
flat. Very flat.
What else happened today? Oh, Justin Fields in Pittsburgh, 2-0. And me and Steven talked about this last year. We weren't sure if it was Fields or Chicago because Chicago really didn't have any dogs over there. Their O-line was shaky at best. I mean, it was worse than that, right? So we didn't really know if it was Fields or Chicago. But, man, and Pittsburgh's defense has been excellent the first 2 weeks. But what I'm saying is you put them on a better team with a heck of a coach, and Mike Tomlin always has his team ready and prepared, not like Mike McCarthy. But anyways, Pitt's 2-0, man. They beat Denver. I know this is the game Russell would have loved to play against his old team, Denver, the way Sean Payton got him out of there like that. But I'm sure he's happy in his teammate, Justin Fields, putting a whooping on him and starting off 2-0.
I agree with you. I think it's, this is a team where I had projected to win the division. I just thought that their defense was great.
It is
Yeah,
really good.
really, really good. I think they could be one of the best defense, if not the best defense in the NFL.
Oh,
But
okay.
coming off for the Steelers, I think there's a great opportunity for both Fields or Russ, to just kind of get out of that situation that they were in, always getting blamed for it.
Right.
Doesn't seem like Russ was the problem now when you look back at Denver and all the debacle that's going on there. But even with Justin Fields, you give him a good defense, you give him decent running back there with Najee Harris and some receivers, and look what this guy can do. And I think you're seeing that Mike Tomlin is a coach. He's always
Yes.
says like a coach is a coach, and he's coaching these young
Developing
men.
young talent. I agree.
Exactly. So I think that's what
Yeah.
you're seeing. It. People get so tired of it and why he hasn't won a Super Bowl or all these different things. But I think as a fan, as a player, that Pittsburgh's going to be in it. And you see it right now with Justin Fields. He's coming along really well, 2-0
Yes.
in their division.
Shoot, Steven, we could talk about the coach on the other side, Denver. Sean Payton, where he make his rookie quarterback throw the ball like 35 times today. Last week it was over 40 times. What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
It's Russ's fault, though. It's always Russ's
It's always
fault.
Russ's fault,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
good
blame
luck
the
with
Russ
Bo Nix.
quarterback.
That's who you wanted, and you got him. Good luck, Sean Payton.
Exactly.
Hope you lose every game.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about it before. Sean Payton, I don't feel, is a great quarterback. He could have saved this rookie. He has two other veteran quarterbacks in there. I'm not saying that they're good,
Right.
but he could have put them into the Wolves and really developed Bo Nix, but he doesn't want to. He's just always trying to get an scapegoat, and I showed my disgust for him from last year to now, so,
And the last team I'm going to mention that rubs me wrong because the NFL hypes this guy. They love this guy, but I'm talking about T-Law down in Jacksonville.
All right, talk about
Trevor
it.
Lawrence and the Jags. Steven, do you know that today this guy only had 16 yards at the half? 16 passing yards. You heard that right.
He went to match
At
his
the
jersey
half.
number.
Oh, man, to match his jersey. Yeah, it was terrible. I don't know. I think this guy's lost his confidence, but I'd start to worry if I was Jaguar fans. Not to mention they lost their top receiver in Ridley. They did get the rookie out of LSU, Brian Thomas Jr. He played opposite Malik Neighbors at LSU last year with Jaden Daniels, and he looks like he's going to be good. But they really don't have a guy to go to, which, what I'm saying is, it asks more on Trevor Lawrence, and you're just not getting it. Christian Kirk, he's a nice receiver, Steven, but he's really not a number one in my opinion. Too small, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know what you do. I would worry. He's regressed. He missed the playoffs last year when they started out nice. I just don't know what you do here.
I think they need to find an identity, to be very honest with you. I think, for example, when you look at Cincinnati, it's a Joe Burrow's team.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. That's their identity, where he's going to lead it. He's going to do anything. When you look at Jacksonville, I don't think you have that with Trevor Lawrence. And they're not strong defensively as they were before. I feel they don't have a
Yes.
dominating running back like a Derrick Henry. They don't have that standout wide receiver. I think they need to find themselves an identity of what they can always rely on to get them in trouble situations.
Yeah,
like what
I
San
agree.
Fran was just talking about with CMC. They can rely on him, give him the ball. They can make a play with him. That's their identity, and that's what they can do. So.
And Cleveland particularly doesn't put up a lot of points. They're primarily a defensive team. They were on the road, and Jaguars still lost. I don't know. It's a head scratcher there, but I can, hey, Trevor Lawrence really got to step it up. You're
Definitely.
former number one overall pick. So
Definitely. And I guess the last game I want to talk about is I was totally wrong about these Cardinals.
Oh, that was the shock of the week, man.
My goodness. I thought the Rams were going to come on and dominate, but hey, Marvin Harrison Jr. came out and
He showed up.
Showed up why he was the number one receiver coming out of college, why he
Yes, sir.
should have been so drafted high.
Kyler Murray had a nice game today. I mean, this kid is so exciting to watch when he's moved out of the pocket.
He needs to move out of the pocket more. I know it's always about staying in the pocket, but
Yeah.
he can't see. I mean, I'm not trying to hate on the guy, but he can't see. So when he gets out of the pocket, he can see what's down the
Remember
field.
Russ had to do that in Seattle, right?
You got to do what you
Had
got
to
to do.
roll out.
I know it kind of puts him in some danger because he's out of the pocket, but hey, wow, Cardinals.
He looked good
Wow.
today, though. Kyler Murray, I'll
Yeah.
give you props. You look very good today. You clicked with Marvin Harrison Jr. Hopefully this can be an ongoing thing, and you build on this. And, it's just more exciting when we have another team down there. I'll mention something quick about Kyler Murray, because there's two quarterbacks that came from the same school, and they're both starting to turn around and play good. Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray,
Yeah.
right?
Look at
Steven, they
Baker.
both came out of Oklahoma. They both won a Heisman Trophy. I would argue that both of them were, you could say they were a little arrogant when they came out. A little arrogant and maybe thinking they were better than they were. And they're good players, don't get me wrong. You know, Kyler Murray never lost a game in Texas as a high school player. So I would have an ego as well. But this is the NFL, baby. The creme de la creme, the top of the top. You know what I mean? The big show. And it takes a little while to learn how to play in the NFL. You're going to get everybody's best when you're the man. And it's just nice to see both those quarterbacks kind of turning things around, showing a little humility, trusting their teammates, and growing. So
Definitely.
Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, you're starting to see him play well. I just made that observation.
Yeah, good observation. I think that's all we have for this
I
week.
think that's all we got for
recap.
week 2. Oh, I just want to say, week 1 I had the New Orleans Saints was my pick. Week 2 I had the Texans. They were a 6.5-point favorite. Came up little short against the spread. They won by 6 against Caleb Williams and the Bears. But if you had them on the money line or any points on a teaser for all the bettors, your boy Joe here at Sniper Sports is 2-0. I'm picking them right. I got my pick coming up for this week. We're gonna have that in the next segment, so check it out, please.
All right. Till next time.
We're out.